Hey y'all, Michelle G here, Bendy Stitchy. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my channel about cross stitch and a little bit of knitting, which you'll see today. I have a knitting finish. We'll get to that. It's been a month since I filmed like a Flosstube, but only 2 weeks since you've seen me because I did a whip parade 2 weeks ago. Full disclosure, since I did the whip parade, I've decided to UFO 2 to 3 things. So my whip lineup will look different next time. I just decided I don't have that much stitchy time left, right? Like I don't have that much stitchy time right now. So like, since a month ago when I filmed a Flosstube and I recorded it on my Flosstube planner on my Notion, I have spent 14 days stitching for a total of 29 hours. Last year this time, it would have been closer to 30 days stitching in a month and much closer to 80 or 90 hours in a month. So I've significantly decreased my amount of stitching time. I'm not mad about it. I'm just choosing to allocate my time differently. So about 3,300, 3,400 stitches on 4 projects, plus some of that time was spent on my Memories of Juno shawl. So we'll start with that because it's a finish. So you can see I have finished my Memories of Juno shawl, aka sports ball shawl. I have not blocked it yet. Don't at me. And there's one end that I need to weave in. But this is Memories of Juno. I got the yarn in Changing Tides in Alaska when I was there on the Alaskan cruise. My friend Steph from Cade's Crafts also bought the same set of yarn. And she finished her Memories of Juno shawl before I finished mine. Probably because she concentrated harder. And also because I added more colors. So this turquoise is from Memories of Juno, but this modeled one is left over from my Dakir shawl. And then this brown is from the Memories of Juno set. And I think this light pink is from my Dakir shawl. The black is Memories of Juno. The fuchsia is Memories of Juno. This variegated one is from Dakir shawl. It's actually called Eid Mubarak. And then the turquoise is Memories of Juno. So you can see it's a triangular shawl with lots of knitting and some eyelets, yarn overs, and it's done. I was calling this my sports ball shawl because I was knitting on it while Rosie was at all her sports ball games. Because the pattern is super nice and easy. So Steph knit this as her first knitting project. If you are looking for a knitting project, a first project, this was a great one because it's literally just like, there's some yarn overs, there's some knit 2 togethers, there's some knit fronts and backs, and the rest is just knit, both sides. So if you're looking to start knitting, Memories of Juno, excellent pattern. And you can do it with mini skeins like we did. You could just do it all in one color too. Like it doesn't matter. You could do it with leftover yarn. Like every time I knit something, I save. Every time I change a color, like I finish a color, kind of like my tail end shawl or my tail end project that I haven't gotten out in a while that I had to buy. It's fine. For my tail end project, I was doing a free sal as my tail end project, and then the year ended. And as soon as the year ends on the Steady Threads free sales, then she reposts them as a purchase PDF. So the year ended and the free ones locked. And so I had to buy it because I didn't finish it. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, we bought the mini skein set, Steph and I did, and we got the pattern free with it. But I think the pattern is on Ravelry. So I'll link it if I think of that. So that was my finish and I'm super excited. And now I will move on to my fuzzball bandolier shawl. So I just have to Google like color work because that's what threw me off last time. So I think I have some frogging to do on that one, some tinking. Although I heard tinking with knitting, when you tink, you're actually knitting backwards. Like you're taking out the knits using your needles, your knitting needles. What I'm going to do to the fuzzball bandolier shawl is I'm going to put in a lifeline and just rip it out. So I don't think that counts as tinking, even though I do like saying tinking because tink is literally the word knit backwards and stuff like that really works for me. So anyway, I'm on to the next. I will finish the fuzzball bandolier shawl. It's the second thing I ever started. And then when I got to the color work, I just didn't watch enough YouTube videos to teach myself how to do it, and I got defeated, so I put it aside, and it's been set aside for years now. So it's time to finish that. Okay, next up is a cross-stitch project that got called for cross-stitch Monopoly. I am working on Tiny Modernist Zodiac signs. This is a cross-stitch that I inherited. A stitcher who goes to Acorns and Threads passed away a few years ago, and all of her stash, Janine agreed to take all of her stash, and she was just saying, like, if you want it, take it, right? It was all in the Acorns Annex, and I grabbed this. When I got it, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and most of Taurus were stitched, along with the outline of the border, but no bobbles. And when I show this to you, I have to stand up because this is stitched on 25 count charcoal Lugana over 2. And she big. And then you also get to see the ends of my shawl and my dinosaurs. So this is where we are now. Whoop. This is where we are now. Ah, look how good it looks. So you can see I've finished Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. First I did Capricorn because I was trying to stitch them in their season. So I stitched Capricorn in their season, and then I put in all the baubles around the edge of it. And then in Aquarius season and Pisces, Aquarius season, I did the baubles. Pisces season, I stitched the baubles, and the baubles, I mean like these little sparkly things, right? I stitched the sun during Pisces season, and then I took a long break. But now I'm ahead of the game again because it's Aquarius season again, and I'm just stitching on it. So I finished Leo since the last time you saw it. And when I tell you there are bajillion stitches in Leo, like if you know a Leo, you know. Leos are main characters. That Leo has there's well over 3,000 stitches in that Leo. So rather than go on to Virgo, which is the next bubble next to Leo, because Virgo is also going to have a bajillion stitches, I just moved down to Sagittarius. I needed a quick win. There's 1,400 stitches in Sagittarius, and I almost finished it. I just got Sa. So I just have to finish the word. But I had another call for stitching Monopoly. So I put this away to get out the next one, which was Hex Hotel. But I will definitely have this finished this year. I love it. And it's big. So I don't know what I'm going to have it. I don't know what it's going to be when it's finished. Is it going to be a wall hanging? I think it's going to have to be a wall hanging. Because what are you going to do? You're not going to frame this. I mean, maybe I can frame it. I was talking to the patrons this morning before we went live, before we started filming. Let me scooch up so you can hear me. And I have gotten really big things framed at Michael's before. My local Michael's is great for framing. They actually have a stitcher on their framing staff. So she really understands the need to keep borders straight and pin, not glue, and all of that stuff. Trina, I'll make sure you get this because I'm done with Leo now. But things that big, I wait for the Michaels coupons to come out and then I stack those bad boys, right? So I have Teresa Wensler's Celestial Dragon that I stitched. If you don't know that, you should Google it. It's a beautiful piece. Intimidating as hell to stitch. I started it in 2013. I bought the pattern in 2013 without opening it up to look on the inside. I got home, I opened it up to look on the inside. I promptly put it away for 3 years. Because I was hell no. I got it out in 2016 and finished it in 2018. I finished the stitching in 2017. And then got intimidated by the sheer number of beads on that thing. Let me just... Anyway, got intimidated by the sheer number of beads on that thing. And... chickened out and stopped. So this is, here we go. This is Celestial Dragon by Teresa Wensler. That's the design. All of these little dots that you see here. So inside all of this lattice, and then around the edges, there's petite gold beads, which fine. All of these dots you see in the lattice, those are all 4 beads. There's a lot of beads on that. a lot of beads on that. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, stunning, gorgeous piece. There's half of the threads are blends, right? You have to stitch it on something where you can stitch 2/2. You don't have to. But I stitched it on something where I could do 2/2 because half of the threads are blends. There's this Kreinik blending filament that you just stitch with as if it's its own thing. You don't blend it. There's also Kreinik blending filament blended into some of the blends. It's wild. But all of that to say, like, this beautiful, gorgeous, stunning thing, my version of it is like 2.5 feet wide by 2 feet high. I got it double matted and framed at Michael's, and I stacked up those coupons so good that that frame job cost me like $83. So Michael's is a good place to frame, but you have to just wait them out until those coupons come in. That's my hot tip for the day. Wait out the Michael's until the coupons come in. Okay, next whip, second and last whip, is called Hex Hotel, and this is a collaboration with Uncanny Kari and D's 20 Stitches. And I love this collab because I got it came in a box, I think, or as a big kit or something. And part of my purchase was the print. So this is an actual print of the watercolor that Kari did that inspired the pattern that D then designed. So when I say collaboration with Uncanny Kari and D's 20 Stitches, usually what that means is Kari does art and D translate it into cross stitch for us. So this is what it will look like someday when it's done. Ish. It'll look like this ish. Okay. And then here is mine. Don't at me. I've come a long way on this. This is on a 40 count Verdal that I am finding it extremely difficult to see because I am unwilling to admit that my eyes are 43 years old. And probably older than that, honestly. Like, I've had glasses since 4th grade. But there it is. I got a lot done. So one of my Whipco boards, I'm on 2 stitching Monopoly boards, which I can link below. Remember, the links for Discord are only good for like 48 hours. So if you come in a couple days and you try the link, if it's like Wednesday or Thursday and you try the link and it doesn't work, just put me a comment and ask for a new link. One of my Whipco boards just has one of my stitching Monopoly boards just has 2 whips on it. It has Hex Hotel and Zodiac Sal. So if it's an odd, I stitch on Zodiac. If it's an even, I stitch on Hex Hotel, or vice versa. I'm not sure. But you can see how, like, here's that little ghost in the window that Kari drew. Here's that spider that Kari drew. And D translated it into stitching. I am going to try to color complete this because I think I can do it. I shouldn't have put the picture down. I think I can stitch all of the black and then fill in the colors. So you can see I have the top layer of the house, but not the detail inside the roof. So that's okay. And I won't be able to get all of the black done because, like, this little ghostie's eyeballs and this little ghostie's eyeballs, that's a little bit too much counting for me. And then there's a lot of back stitch here. Not a lot. The spider's legs are back stitch, so I'll have to come back for that. But I think it's coming along. I had an abysmal start on it when I added it to my Whipco. I got Whipco on the brain. When I added it to my Monopoly page, my start on this was absolutely abysmal. So I feel like I've made great strides, which is really what it's all about, right? Especially when you're only stitching a wee bit each month. Okay. And then I actually had a new start. So this is the first time in a good long while that I've had a new start that was not a SAF, start and finish. I did go on an absolute tear last year on the Alaska cruise with Quirky Quakers. So I think I polished off like 4 or 5 Quirky Quakers during that vacation, which I love to do because I love like a quick, satisfying, simple, not too many colors, easy to follow pattern stitch, and the Quirky Quaker scratches every single one of those itches. But this is my new start, and I have to show you a picture because this is on Tiny Modernist Patreon. So you don't have to be a member of Cheryl's Patreon in order to get this Sal. You can actually purchase it on her Patreon. So Patreon is kind of a really fun platform because we can do a lot of things as creators on Patreon. We can have monthly subscription tiers. We can sell things directly. We can do merch. We can have things that aren't given to the tiers and they're just free for everyone. Like, it's really nice. So this is Cheryl's new Sal, and it's run through Patreon, but you don't have to be a member. One-time purchase it. And this is called These Plants Could Kill. So that was just the first part that you were looking at. It comes out every 15th of the month. So January, February, March. I'm not sure. Maybe there's 6 of them. But this is how far I got. And I'm stitching it in all of the called for DMC. And this is a 32 count hot cocoa Lugana from Be Stitch Me. I just love... Cheryl's is on like stone or something. So it's a little bit more gray than this one. But I love stitching... First of all, even weave is my new jam. I love even weave. And this is a little bit of a tight 32. So this is probably closer to a 34, I think, because the dyeing process. But that's just making my stitches floofier and my colors more bad. So you can see this is one day of work. I didn't get very far on it. I would like to go back to this week. I have a couple of deadline stitching assignments that I need to do first, though, and I'll show you those coming up here in a minute in the plan section. But I'm really happy with this start. I really am. I have 2 more starts planned, which is also why I decided to get rid of 3 whips, so that I would start this one and 2 more and keep myself even on the whip numbers, which is not a requirement of anyone, except I just wanted to do it that way. Okay. So that's all my whips. 1 start, 2 whips, 1 finish in a month. But I mean, it's already my first finish of the year. So it's good. I like it. 2026, finish 2026-1. That's how I number my whips. Because, or my finishes, because it keeps them all in order on my Notion, which is nice. Okay. Next up, let's talk about, what do I have? Waiting for the thing to reload. So let's talk about plans, because I have 1 plan sitting right in front of me. So I'm still in a couple of round robins, and one of them is an iconic Ink Circles round robin, where there's 12 of us in the group. 8 people have mandalas that we split into 4 sections, and 4 people have bigger Ink Circles pieces that are actually split into 12 sections. So for 8 people, Stitch X loved Donna. She figured it all out. She mathed it. You had to stitch on a certain number of mandalas each, and then everybody stitches on the big projects. Cool, cool, cool. So I finally got a chance with turtles all the way down. So this is from Ink Circles, and you just keep stitching turtles all the way down. And the ask was, use variegated floss, and then stitch the turtle's body in a greenish, and stitch the shell in one of your favorite colors. So you can see people put, like, this is my friend Heather. People picked their favorite variegated flosses, or one that they loved, and they stitched their turtles. So my turtle goes down here, and I'm going to use some Stitchy Box silks. One of them is a little bit hard to read, but it's gorgeous, and you'll just have to take my word for it. So this is green shoots, and that's going to be my turtle body. And then my turtle shell is this one, and this is called Deep Woods. I love this one. It goes from a black to a dark green down to this silvery white. So once this is stitched, the variegation is beautiful. And I only have 3 strands of this left because I stitched a swap in this, and it came out perfectly. But 3, like, all I have to do is that tiny little shell, and even though I'm stitching over 2, it should be totally fine. So this I'm going to knock out today and get this on to the next person, because I'm the second to last person, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll be turtle number 11, and then turtle number 12 is the finisher. So this will be almost done very soon. And the person who had Heather's project, Heather Link is my homeboy. She put in a really cute Halloween themed project that's like 12 tiles, and it's like eyeballs and stuff like that. I don't know. God bless it. Now I want to know what it is. But I'm getting that next. So that's getting shipped to me this weekend. So I want to finish this, get it back in the mail so that this can be finished. So that's one of my plans. Another plan is I need to stitch my, if you haven't seen this yet, I want to draw your attention to, if you're not familiar with X Stitch the Rainbow, there are 20 or so each year, usually for market, 20 plus designers band together, and we all use the same 4 flosses, and we all design a 60 by 60 piece, and we all adhere to the same theme. And it's so much fun. So this year, this is the theme. It's the Cottage Garden Threads Beneath the Waves palette, presented by X Stitch the Rainbow. There are 21 of us, like I think 21. They're already starting to introduce the team on Instagram. So Jed X Stitch, Nuri from Shaded Stitchery, Top Knot Stitcher, Robin Pickens, Tiny Modernist, Stitchy Pros, Works by ABC. Everybody is, I think Jed X Stitch is new this year, but I think the other 6 are repeat offenders, if you will. I am so excited for this. So this is the palette. I'll show you mine against the fabric I chose. Actually, I didn't choose the fabric. My patrons did. But just as a reminder, if you like this sounds familiar, but I forgot. This was last year, right? X Stitch the Rainbow Night Garden palette with Threadworks. So those were our 4 colors from last year. That's Holly Stitchy Pros' piece. And then this was the Ink Circles one, right? So we all used, that was Tiny Modernist. We all used the same flosses. So very similar this year. These are the flosses from Cottage Garden Threads. So this is Sizzle. This is Citrus, Sea Change, and Mariana. And my fabric, I shouldn't say the fabric that I chose, but this is the fabric that my patrons chose this morning. So my fabric is called Eucalyptus Showers, and it is from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, which is my friend Gwen. She is a beautiful fabric dyer. And it's going to be tone on tone with the turquoise, but I'm really thinking think about ocean currents and a little bit of sunshine is coming through, but it's still I'm thinking tropical, a little bit deeper, that deep turquoise of the tropics waters. Let me see if I can juggle this. So here it is. That is my fabric and my floss. I'll take a better teaser picture today and get it up on Instagram. But oh, I'm so excited about that combination. So this is a piece of 36 count eucalyptus showers from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I will probably be stitching this 2/2. I don't know if I'm going to have the same aspiration this year as I did last year to stitch them all, because I'm still stitching them all from last year. I'm not stitching all of them, I'm stitching 12 of them from last year. But I love this project. I've never not been a part of this project. And I'm just really excited. And you can still go back and get the old ones, right? The very first time that it was called X Stitch the Rainbow, before that it was just a group of designers loosely held together. I don't know if you remember the Moo the Merrier, but we had a 12 color floss pack from Sulky, and we all designed cows. And then the next year we kind of loosely did the Meow the Merrier with the same floss pack. But the first time X Stitch the Rainbow handled it, it was the the Cottage Garden Threads palette. Cottage Garden Threads Autumn Garden Palette with X Stitch the Rainbow. This was in 2022. And then the next year, 2023, got super interesting. And we did, let me go back a little to get the flosses. We did a tea time theme. It was Treenway Silk's Tea Time Palette with X Stitch the Rainbow. And this one is from Ingleside Imaginarium. Of course, it's a dinosaur. I mean, a dragon. Of course, it's a dragon. It's from Ingleside Imaginarium. And then Tea Time was that year. And then this was mine. I did Chatterbroth. But I also called it Demon Tea because the people had red eyes. I liked it. And then it was the Night Garden palette from Threadworks. the Threadworks Night Garden palette presented by X Stitch the Rainbow last year. And then this year it is scrolling. Cottage Garden Threads Beneath the Waves palette. So I'm really excited. I love working with Cottage Garden Threads. They're so much fun to stitch with. The variegation is beautiful. Plus, Katie and her team are awesome. So I'm really excited about that. Mine's almost done being designed. I need to finish designing it and stitching it because I won't be at market this year. I was not invited back. And I have to then, because I won't be at market, I need to adhere to other people's schedules because Holly at Stitchy Pros is going to be distributing X Stitch the Rainbow charts for all of us designers who aren't at market. There's a few of us who won't be there. So I need to make sure that I get my model stitched and finished and in the mail, and my charts finished and printed and in the mail so that I'm not slowing down or stressing out Holly and her team because she is an impeccable businesswoman in ways that I am not, and I will not be a cause of stress to her. I will not. I love her too much. She's too good of a human for me to stress out. So, yes. So even though I will not be at market, you'll still be able to get my X Stitch the Rainbow design. You just have to tell your LNS that it's available from Holly at Stitchy Pros in her booth. That's that. Okay. That's my plan. And then I'm in all of these Patreons, right? I am a member of a bunch of different Patreons. And there are 2 patterns that I must stitch this month. And I don't know, like, is it going to work out? Am I going to get to stitch it? Heck if I know. But we're going to give it a go. The first one is from the Stitch Crypt. This is so beautiful. I love tone on tone, right? I love tone on tone. So this is all DMC on green, and it's fairly small. It's like 67 by 67 or something, and there's lots of negative space, so we're hitting a bunch of those cross-stitch tropes that I love, right? This won't take that long. There's an alphabet. Alphabet stitch up quickly. There's lots of negative space. Anyway, it's called Bog Moth, and as soon as I saw it in the email, I was like, I gotta stitch this. I've got to stitch this. It's beautiful. It's 4 colors of DMC, whatever. So that's on the list of things to start. And then also, in a completely different style, we have, what is this called? Ghost Bat Sampler. This is from Bad Stitch on Patreon, Bad Stitch. Look at these little floofs. These are actual real bats, I think. Ghost bats. And I love that she put them with morning glories. And then there's those orange, or there's those brown moths that kind of balance all of the blues and pinks. And I love the pink sparkles. And this is doing it for me. So for my giveaway this fortnight, I will let you choose. It's going extremely well for me to be gifting months subscriptions to different Patreons because no shipping. All I need is your email address. Done is done, right? So for this month, the giveaway, for this fortnight, the giveaway is either, it's your choice of I usually do 2-month, subscription to Bad Stitch, their Patreon, or it is a 2-month subscription to the Stitch Crypt, their Patreon. And I always bring you in at the level that I live at. So I don't live at the highest level really of any Patreon. So I'll bring you in where I am. And then I'll put a link down below to a Google form, as always. I make a new Google form each time now, and I feel like people are having less difficulty filling them out. But one of the questions will be, do you want Stitch Crypt or do you want Bad Stitch? I'm not going to do a surprise me because I'm not here for that. Also, last Flosstube, I said that I would give away a membership to Shaded Stitchery and a membership to Tiny Modernist. I would do both. So right now I'm going to ask the patrons to choose 2 numbers between 2 and 10, and we'll see if we don't get, hopefully we get one of each. Because last time I let people choose Tiny Modernist or Shaded Stitchery or either one surprise me. I guess I only just need 2 memberships because if both people choose, anyway, just waiting for the patrons to give me 2 numbers. And it'll be good. 9 and 4. Perfect. So number 9 is Iris, and Iris is getting a membership to Tiny Modernist. And number 4 is Abby, and Abby is getting a membership to Shaded Stitchery. So that's perfect. So Iris and Abby, hopefully by the time you see this, I will have purchased and sent you the memberships to Shaded Stitchery and Tiny Modernist. Because Patreon's just so much fun, right? And this way, not only am I giving away charts is cool. I love giving away charts. When I give you a chart and I mail it to you, you're enjoying, hopefully, the chart that you asked for. When I give you a membership to Patreon for a month or 2, you're getting the benefits of the membership and the artist gets paid too. So 2 wins, 2 birds, 1 stone. I have a tattoo about that. It's something I like to do. The more joy is more joy, right? Okay. So we did the giveaway. We talked about my plans, which are extensive for someone who doesn't stitch much, especially when my Monopoly turn is probably going to come up. I'm probably going to get tagged here in the next hour or 2. What I did not mention, purchases. First of all, I am in a couple of Patreons that do stuff, right? So Fox and Rabbit, and Anna, if you're watching, you should look away because the December Fabric of the Month came from Fox and Rabbit. I get the 36 count linen every month. I get a fat quarter. Look at how beautiful this is. This is called Angel's Hair, and it's nice. It's just nice. It's a really great color. I really wish I could design on these, right? It's a perfect neutral. But I will find something to put on that. And Anna, you can look again. The reason I always tell Anna to look away is because she and I share those. So I'll cut it in half so we each end up with a fat 8. Because with 36 count, like, that's a good amount. And then I'm also in Deanna, Darling and Whimsy's Patreon. And we got our Merry Christmas cards. And it's so sweet. It has her Quirky Quaker Cardinal on it. And then check this out. This is the coolest. It's beautiful. I don't know how she did it or where she got it or what she did, but this is, it's plastic and it's printed. It's the cardinal. It's her Quirky Quaker Cardinal. It's a Christmas ornament or, whatever. It's a decoration for all the time here. I'm probably going to actually keep it here on display all the time, but look at how nice that is. And it's nice sound, plastic, good printing. Like, how cool is that? Deanna is always finding, like, new and different ways to hook us up with stuff. And it's always themed on her designs, and I love it so much. So, like, matchy. So, if you're not in Deanna's Patreon, we'll get to that one, too. I'm going to bring you in at a higher level because I want you to be at the stuff level where I am. But you got to be there, I think, for 3 months to get some stuff. So, I have to think about that. So those were my purchases. And I think they do count as purchases because I pay for the Patreon. So I think they count as purchases. I waffle back and forth. Is it Happy Mail? Is it purchase? I don't really know. A couple of things that I want to mention. One thing that's coming up that I want you to be on the lookout for is the Cupid Collective Volume 2. So myself, Soft Girl Stitches, Cross Stitch the Globe, Sprouting Lupine, Stitch X Love, Darling and Whimsy, and D's 20 Stitches, we all contributed a Valentine's themed-esque pattern to this collection, and you can get it. I don't know if you remember the Cupid Collective Volume 1, that was last year, but you can get all 7 of these patterns with a $15, I think we settled on $15, or more donation to one of 4 charities that we have selected. So we'll put out instructions. This will run from February 1st to February 14th. We will put out instructions like, hey, donate to this charity, send your receipt to our Cupid Collective email, and we each choose a day or 2 to man the email, and then we'll send you the bundle of patterns. So they're all donated patterns. None of us get paid for the patterns. This is strictly for charity, which you know I love. I'm always in on these charity things. I like to do it. But I've seen the patterns this year, and they're, number one, a wide variety of patterns, and number two, really, really cool. Like, hilarious, gorgeous, beautiful, different styles, different, just all kinds of stuff. So mine kind of goes with my pattern from last year, which was Love Drum. So this year's pattern, I love a series. So my pattern, without saying too much, from this year will match not only my Love Drum from last year, but another pattern that I've previously released. So it's like, anyway, keep an eye on Stitch X Love and all of the rest of our Instagrams, and we'll be making announcements for when that goes live. So that's exciting. And then I also wanted to talk about, because a few Flosstubes ago, I talked about adding -AI to the end of your Google searches, and it would eliminate the AI results at the top of your Google search. Well, about a week and a half ago, I realized that Google had suddenly stopped caring about -AI at the end of my Google search. And even though every time I searched blah, 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 -AI, Google was like, here's your AI results. And I was like, I don't want AI results. Stop burning the world. So I told my husband my frustrations, Wade, and of course he came through, and I use Firefox as my search engine, whatever, but he got me a new search. I use Firefox as my browser. He got me a new search engine, and it's called DuckDuckGo. All one word, DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo actually has a settings where you can completely turn off what they call assisted search. So I do have to work harder to get the same search results. I have to be a better searcher on the web, meaning I have to refine my search words better, and it takes me a little longer to, quote, Google a thing. But I think that I'm okay with that for two reasons. Number one, working harder to search a thing on the internet is doing the opposite of what AI would do to me. So perhaps my brain is adding more wrinkles because I have to think harder about my Google searches rather than smoothing out with the use of AI. Studies are showing, don't at me. And I'm also not burning the house down every time I Google search. So DuckDuckGo, just as an update to my -AI PSA before, -AI doesn't seem to be working anymore. But DuckDuckGo did allow me to turn off the AI feature entirely, which I appreciate. Because you don't need AI to freaking Google search. It's not anyway, we already went through that. Okay, so that is the end of the stitching content. I do have 3 books that I finished. I bought a planner, and I have a tarot card. So if you're not here for any of that, totally fine. I get it. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly, and then, I'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks. What is it in 2 weeks? I should be back in 2 weeks. So next weekend we have a basketball tournament, and then the weekend after that we're free. So I should see you February 7th, hopefully. If you don't stick around for the rest of this, in which case I'll continue to see you today. But if you're out of here because the cross-stitch content is over, totally fine. I'll see you in a couple weeks. So if you stayed, I did finish 3 audiobooks this month, which feels really great. We will start with the first one, which I really, really liked. This is the order that I finished them into. The first one is called The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and it's by Sangu Mandana. I'm not sure if it's Sangu or Sangu, but I try not to do like Midwest to everything, so I try to say Sangu instead of Sangu. Anyway, it's by Sangu Mandana, and it is, I loved this book. I thought it was so sweet. I think it was the epitome of a cozy read for me. So it's about this woman, and she's a witch, and there are witches all over the world, but the witches never congregate. They don't hang out with each other. They don't, because it's dangerous, according to the head witch. Every quarter they have a meeting in like a wild, crazy, out of the way place. Like the book starts and they're meeting on a pier in the Hebrides in like October, which if you've seen, there's a really great documentary series called The Hebrides. I think it's narrated by not Ian McKellen. The guy that played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequels. Whatever. The guy that played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequels narrates the Hebrides documentary series. If you haven't seen it, 12 out of 10, please get it. It's so good. Because I watched that, I know that meeting on a pier in the Hebrides in October is like a real bad idea. So that gave me a really good setting of like how hard these witches try not to be together and discovered. But developments develop, and this witch ends up living with 3 young witches, like kiddos, and, heartstrings are pulled, attachments are made, there's a threat to their security and safety as a family, and I can't wait to read the next one. I don't think it's like a sequel. I think it's like in the same universe, but it was a really nice listen, and I loved it. The next one I listened to is called Monsters by Claire Dederer, and it's Monsters, A Fan's Dilemma. This was recommended to me as an answer to the debate of can you separate art from artist in the context of JKR. And I'll tell you, the book was not that. For me, the book did not shed any light onto the question of can you separate art from artist. It was more of the author looking at her own, first examining her own ability to, it was about the author first examining her own propensity to still want to watch art made by horrible, mostly men, right? So she still wants to watch Roman Polanski movies. She still, like, even though he's a horrible guy, like, she still wants to appreciate art made by horrible people, and, like, what kind of person does that make her? And then from there, it went into, like, well, am I a bad person? Right? Like, what separates me from the monsters? Like, the author had a problem with alcohol previously in her life. Does that make her a monster? So it started out as what I thought was an interesting discussion of art versus artist. But somewhere like in the 2/3 mark, it turned into like, tell me I'm okay. And very like apologist. And she lost me when she went there. But I thought the first third to half at the very least was pretty good. I didn't get an answer to, and she wasn't out to give us an answer to art versus artist, but it was interesting. Not what I wanted it to be, not what I expected. I finished it. This did return on me to the library, and I finished it second. So usually if a book returns on me and then I have to check it out again, I don't love it as much. And then the other book that I listened to this month it's called Lean In, Women, Work, and the Will to Lead by Sheryl Sandberg. Sheryl Sandberg, famous for being the CEO of Facebook. So again, really interesting ideas, right? I thought she had some really great things to say about women in corporate jobs, or like, when I say a corporate job, I mean like a job where you can intend to climb, right? Like even at my hospital, I would consider that, once you're in leadership, a corporate job, because there is a climb to be made if you want to. So really interesting points about like how to find a mentor and how to think about finding a mentor and how to learn from other women and how to help other women. But there were 2 things that I could not get past in this book. And one is that I felt like every point she made was rooted in patriarchy. Meaning all of her advice was like, she would quote a study that said, for example, women and men in leadership positions who display the same behaviors, studies show again and again and again that the men are rated as more well-liked and the women are rated as less well-liked when they display the same behaviors. And they determine that by like they'll like blind a resume, or they'll blind a story about a leader, and or they'll take the same story about a leader and how they conducted themselves, and they'll put female pronouns and have a group read it and rate the person's behavior, and they'll put male pronouns and have a group read it and rate the person's behavior. And overwhelmingly, and every single time, the men are in those situations, the group responding to the male pronoun story rates the leader as better and more likable than the group reading the female pronoun story, right? So like, very interesting. But then her solution to that was, you just have to go out of your way to be nicer as a woman. And I was like, no, I don't have to go out of my way to be nicer as a woman. That cannot be the answer. That cannot be the answer. So a lot of it was rooted in patriarchy like that. Another example was, she's like, people ask me how I do it all. And the way that I do it all is that her partner is a really good and equal partner. It seems like they have it all worked out where they communicate well and they each take turns like taking care of the kids and the housework and blah, 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 blah. And she was like, and men just have it easier because women who stay at home, men who are in the workforce and women who stay at home, it's expected and they don't have to deal with that. So we just have to deal with the disappointment and the guilt and the shame of not having it all. And again, I was like, no, we can go to therapy. We don't have to deal with the guilt and the disappointment and shame of not having it all. We can learn to understand a different way of having it all. As someone who's gone through that process, let me tell you, you don't have to live with the guilt and shame of not having it all. You can actually overcome the guilt and shame of not having it all, of the perception of it, right? So that was the first thing, is that a lot of her advice felt rooted in patriarchy. And maybe it's because the book was written in 2015. The other thing I couldn't get over is the fact that she was giving advice to women in the workplace while she was the CEO of one of the worst social media companies to exist. Like, Facebook is trash. And she's gonna give us advice about how to, and she like, and it grossed me out because all the time she was like, oh, Mark this and Mark that, and Mark is such a great guy, and Mark let me cry on his shoulder. And I'm like, Mark is verifiably not a great guy. Mark Zuckerberg is a billionaire and doesn't care about any of us. Like, I would not rate him as a great guy. I don't know him personally, but like, her perception of him and my perception of him are so different, and her perception of Facebook as a company and my perception of Facebook as a company are so different that really did interfere with my ability to want to take her advice as a woman who wants to rise up in her career. So all of that to say, whoops, I struggled a little bit with, I struggled a lot with Sheryl Sandberg's book. And I'm sure she meant well. And again, the book was written 11 years ago, so maybe there are things that she would change now if she made an updated version. I can't say, but I don't recommend. Out of all of the like self-improvement books and like managerial books that I've read, and I do read a lot of that genre, I would absolutely not recommend Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. There's better advice out there. Okay, moving on. Something I did like. You know how at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, everyone's like inundated with ads on Instagram. Get your calendar, get your planner. You need a planner. I bought one. I want to be a planner person. And this one, it's green. I like the green. It's hardcover. I like the hardcover. It has tabs that match the hardcover. And the tabs are stickers. So I applied the tabs myself, but the backing of the stickers for the tabs, it actually had a guide on it. So like, this is the monthly tab, right? So I took the sticker off of the sticker paper, and I lined the sticker paper up with the edge of my book, and it showed me right where to put the monthly tab. So that's why the tabs look so good, because like, plus point in the plus margin, they told me where to put the tabs. But there's a lot of cool sections in this, and I kind of went through a couple iterations. So last year, I keep a planner as a bit of a journal. So last year in my planner journal, I would write in different colors. If you're a nurse or you know a nurse, if you know a nurse and you struggle, like you think, my nurse friend needs a little treat, get him one of these. I know like 3 nurses out of 40,000 that would not love this pen. We love this pen. This is the quintessential nurse pen. I always have one, even though I'm not a real nurse anymore. Last year, and I carried it over into this year, I used the colors in that pen to denote like different things I was doing. So red is cross-stitch stuff. Black is kind of my work stuff and my me stuff. Blue is family stuff, and green was Rosie stuff. But then I want to be, the type of planner person I want to be, is I want to be a person with washi tape and stickers and decals who makes everything herself, right? I will never be that person. I've tried to be that person. It did not ever work out. It was never sustainable. I don't prioritize that. So what I decided to do is, and see, I try to be that person a little bit, right? I pasted in my wristband from Rose's First Power League, and that's the thing, the tag from this yarn, this one here. But so what I did is I bought the girls a bunch of Sharpies to decorate their volleyballs. That's a long story. If you have a volleyball kid, you know that they will occasionally decorate their volleyballs with Sharpies because they all have the same freaking volleyball and they take it to every tournament. And I'm telling you right now, we've been to 2 tournaments. One girl's already lost her volleyball. It is not enough to just put your name on it. So they decorate them. They like art them up. So I also bought myself some Sharpies. And I don't like this dark purple, so I gave it to Rose. But what I'm doing now, what I've evolved to, is I like this look. It's clean. It's enough, but not too much. So yellow is volleyball, blue is basketball, pink is family stuff. This greener green is me stuff. And then there's a lighter blue-green turquoisey that is YouTube stuff. And you can really see, like in my monthly spread, how the colors are working out. So I'm a fan. I'm really liking it. And then the other thing that I do with my journal that I really like, in case you care, is this side has boxes of things to do. And then the other side is like just plain lines for notes. Every day I write in my gratitude for the day. And then the journal also has a baked in like large gratitude reflection. So like the 3 big things of the week. And then these are my big to-dos of the week. So I love writing my gratitude in my planner because it's just a nice practice for me. Every night I write my gratitude. And then they also have this section here. This is not an ad for the curation. I paid for this. This section here, it's a personal planner and tracker, and it happens to have 3 columns and 1 for each day of the week. So I track my tarot card, the meaning, and the deck that I'm using. And that one I did keep my colored pens for that one because I have like black for wands, green for pentacles, blue for cups, red for swords, and then purple is the major arcana. So I'm loving that journal. I'm really, really loving that journal. And then last but not least, I have been pulling, it's been for this entire month of January now and some of December, I've been pulling cards from the Cozy Witch Tarot deck. My friend Anna got me this, and I have a lot of tarot decks. I went ham on tarot decks, right? You guys remember. I will switch a deck when I'm pulling cards and I'm like, yeah, it's not really like, the vibes are off, right? The vibes have been on with this deck for over a month now, and I love it. I'm so happy. Today I pulled the 10 of Swords. And one thing I love about this tarot deck is it's all women. And another thing I love about the tarot deck is it has like a little key phrase down at the bottom. So 10 of Swords says, hurt people, and hurt witches, hurt witches. So the meaning that I took from today's card, which was exceptionally on point, once again, we are vibing, this deck and I. The meaning I took is, don't let a painful realization steal your joy. It's better to know. See? Cozy Witch and I are vibing right now. So thank you, Anna, for putting that deck into my life. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday. That's it. That's all I got. Love my planner. These are my Sharpies. Oh gosh. In case you were wondering, they're like pastel chisel tip Sharpies, so they kind of work like highlighters and they're very light. If you need to find those specific ones, I recommend them. And they don't bleed through the pages too much. Just like a little light hint of bleed through, which I don't really care about. But I think I hit all my points. So I will get this edited and get this posted, and I will send off the Patreon memberships to the winners, and all the links that everything I talked about should be down below. If you can't find one, leave a comment or slide into my DMs on Instagram. Instagram DMs are usually the easiest way to get a hold of me, at Michelle Bendy, not at Bendy Stitchy Designs, because I never check that one. Yeah, that's all I've got. We'll be doing volleyball this weekend, nothing next weekend, so I'll be back again. I already said that. And then thanks for hanging out. I'm bad at goodbyes. See you later.